We ready? All right. Hi. Thanks for coming back and watching another one of these. I really appreciate it. Today we're going to talk about Mercury Retrograde, which is now between November 16th and December 6th. It runs about 3 weeks. Mercury Retrograde happens about 3 times a year. All planets go retrograde, but everybody is aware of Mercury because Mercury is the planet of communication and contracts, electronics, computers, buying a new car, buying a house. These are all things that Mercury retrograde can absolutely affect. As a matter of fact, let me just throw this in real fast. If you're having a hard time selling your house and it's been for sale for a long time and it's priced right, get an ephemeris. An ephemeris is what you can read or look at to see where planets were at a certain time in past years or present for that matter. Find the papers for the house you're trying to sell and see when the date was that you signed the final papers. And then check on an ephemeris and see if it was a Mercury retrograde. You have a lot of work or a big problem because it's going to be very, very hard to sell that house if the final papers were signed on a Mercury retrograde. So sometimes, and I'm not an astrologer obviously, but astrologers have really, really good advice that they can give people this time of the year or this time during a Mercury retrograde. It affects, be very careful, read contracts very good. If there's telephone, business calls that you have to make, say the stuff twice. They don't hear you, you don't hear them. Travel is absolutely terrible in a Mercury retrograde. Flight cancellations, people losing their luggage. Mercury retrograde can really be the pits. Now, there's an actual upside to Mercury retrograde. Something that went wrong in the past can be fixed during a Mercury retrograde this time. The other thing is, a lot of times you can retrace your steps and talk to people that maybe you haven't talked to in a long time. In my world, I don't think there's a lot of an upside with the Mercury retrograde, but you know what? Sometimes you just have to look for the positive in something. The other thing is, personally, I wouldn't get married in a Mercury retrograde. If you have to have elective surgery, check a calendar first. You really don't want to have surgery in a Mercury retrograde. So these are just things that you can check out. You can look. Obviously, if it's an emergency with the surgery, you have no choice. But I'm talking about choices. If you have choices, don't sign the final papers on your new house. Wait until the Mercury retrograde is over before you buy your new vehicle. Don't have the surgery till after the Mercury retrograde. It's not hard. It only happens 3 times a year. I can remember one of the Mercury retrogrades in the last couple of years was over Christmas. Whew. You cannot believe the family and how everybody dealt with the Mercury retrograde. Just talking was a problem. So these are definitely things I just wanted to touch on. And as a matter of fact, just because I am so aware of a Mercury retrograde, I am actually doing this video 2 days before. I figure, why test fate and talk about a Mercury retrograde during a Mercury retrograde? After this, the next week will be on quince. Quince. It's the little seed that I give to everybody for protection from earthbound spirits. And again, keep the letters coming in. I'm enjoying every one of them, and your criticisms of this and how I can improve it. Thank you very much.